Kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap, number 1753, a day of R&R. Oh, it has been an awesome day today. I have not had a quiet, lazy weekend day for a couple of weeks, 3 weeks. No, it's been at least 3 weeks because the last 2 weekends I was in San Diego taking care of my grandsons, and last Sunday I was driving home. So this is my first one in 3 weekends that I've just had to sit back, kick back, and go. But I did start the day off working because I had a yard that, even though I had mowed the lawn, trimmed the lawns, mowed the lawns, and weeded the night before I left for San Diego, that was 2 weeks ago. The darn weeds had grown back again. I had more weeds, and I knew if I didn't get them cleaned up, the HOA was going to complain to the landlord. The landlord was going to charge me. It was going to send me a letter saying you've got to get this roof fixed. So I thought this weekend I'm going to get it done. Well, yesterday we had a mastermind group on. By the time that was done, it was just way too hot to be outside. So this morning we got up and went for our walk, came back, had breakfast. You can see Zeffie's exhausted still from her. Oh, that's actually her pup cup, and I'll tell you about that in a moment. And when we got back, had breakfast, and I was outside at 9 a.m. It was like 78 degrees outside, which is somewhere in the 20s for those in centigrade. And I got the lawns all trimmed up. I actually ran the 2 battery packs out on the weed whacker because my weed whacker and I forgot about I totally forget about these reaction things that come up. So my weed whacker and my leaf blower thingy both run off battery packs, and there's one per thing. And so I went through one and a bit on the weed whacker, trimming all the edge around the edge of the grass out there, chopping down some of the bigger weeds. Well, the bigger weeds were like about this big. So not that big, but big enough to be noticeable that should somebody from the HOA walk past and happen to take a photograph, they'd bitch and moan about it. So we whacked them all back, did all my trimming, got the leaf blower out, actually killed the second battery. Well, the first battery pack was killed by the weed whacker. That was on the charger. Second battery pack got killed. I'm out there blowing everything to where I've got no idea how to use one of those things. I just point and it just blows. There's probably some technique about the sweeping motion and how you can direct that. I have no clue. Okay. I am not a gardener. I just do the best I can with what I have out there. So, I tell you, it was fun. So I did the best I could, and then all of a sudden the thing just stops working, and I'm like, oh, I guess I drained that battery pack. Fortunately, most of it was done. Then the wind comes up and starts blowing everything around, and I figured I can take care of the rest. So Mother Nature helped out with the rest of the blowing because I had a dead blower. So Mother Nature took over and started blowing everything around. So that was fine. And it cleared all the paths in the driveway, and all the important places got cleared of debris, which was good. And so then I had my new gallon pump thing that you pump up and down and you can spray. And I have the weed killer, which is kid friendly and dog and animal friendly. And you put a gallon of water and then put 4 ounces of the stuff in there. And I've got enough in this container to make 8 gallons. And so I decided to make 1 gallon and see how far it would take me. Prioritize what I was going to spray, got all of that sprayed, and got like halfway down the side of the house over here. And by this stage, it's like 10 o'clock and it's 83 degrees outside. And I'm just like, and I had in the garage an electrolyte mixed drink. And every time I walked in the garage, I swigged some of that stuff down. And there was times that my hands were like shaking like this, and I'm trying to hold this thing here. And yeah, it was not pretty. And that was because of the vibrations from the weed whacker had affected my nerves. And so I was very trembly. And but that helped calm the nerves, calm everything down quite a lot. So got most of it done, and I thought I am not. And by the time I finished this gallon, I thought, okay, I've just got the back half of that side of the house to do. And I'm like, it is hot. Even though I was in the shade, I'm exhausted. I'm calling it a day. I'm going to go kick back and relax for the rest of the day. And so I got inside, and just inside the door here from the garage is the laundry. So stripped down because I didn't want to take any of that clothing through the house. And thankfully, it's all private from the laundry bag. The blinds in here were not open at the time, so they didn't see me streaking down the house. And went and had a nice hot shower. And then we just basically kicked back and we took a nap. We've done some reading, watched some videos, and I was actually late today because, well, my Amazon order arrived today, which has my mason jars in there, which I'm super excited about because I've been setting goals to start changing things over in my pantry and my kitchen. And if you've watched our episodes we've done with Nicole on detoxifying the home, detoxifying the kitchen, I've slowly been replacing plastics with glass. And I actually have these really cool dishes, which have 3 compartments in them and has a silicone lid that goes on top. And that was great because I actually made up stuff in there, and they fitted beautifully into my electric cooler bin, which I had in the car to drive out to San Diego in. And I was able to put other stuff in there for on the way home. So they were brilliant. And so that's for my meal prepping thing. And so the next step was to get some jars because I've found this really yummy, super yummy. I thought there was somebody going here. Super yummy chocolate chai pudding recipe. And so I made up some before I left to go to San Diego. I made up some when I got home, and I'm almost out of the almond milk that I need. And I'm like, I really have to go to Sprouts and get some more of that stuff because it's the only place I know to get it. I wonder if I go on Instacart if I can find it. I'm going to have to try that one, Instacart. Hang on, I'm just going to write that down. Instacart for the milk. It's called Milk, M-A-L-K. And almond milk, I will tell you this right now, it has written on the front of it, no gum. And if you've been watching our series with Nicole, you'll see that in there she mentions quite a lot of times that anything that has gum in it is not good because it causes leaky gut, which is one of the reasons I had to switch protein powders, because my favorite protein powder, even though it wasn't bought through a friend with in a health wellness business, because I am very, very picky on my protein powders and the flavors and everything else. And I had this really good vanilla one that I absolutely loved, and they stopped making it. And so then I tried different ones out there from different businesses that people had, and couldn't find one. And I found one that I really, really liked, and got it through Amazon because it was like half the price of what they were charging at Sprouts for this. And but when Nicole and I did that episode on reading labels, I think that was last year. That was last year. We did that episode on reading labels. I was like, oh, because my favorite protein powder had the gum in it, had Gower gum. And of course, my favorite coconut milk also had Gower gum in it too. And I'm like, seriously, why do my favorites have Gower gum in it? So I finally finished that, got a protein powder. I've still got to try it. Finally found I found a protein powder, which Nicole recommended, which I have been using, but it's got no flavor to it. And I found another one that I can use as well. So I've got to try that. But I didn't realize that some of the almond milks have gum in them. And so I was looking, and I happened to be in Sprouts. This is before I went to San Diego. I happened to be in Sprouts, and they had this almond milk, M-A-L-K, not M-I-L-K, M-A-L-K. And they had it on sale. They had these 2, what were they? Like 16-ounce bottles, I think they were. 2 16-ounce bottles for $7.50, normally $7 a piece. And I was like, $7.50 for 2, huh? Yep, we can do that. And I just ran out this past week. I was like, damn. Well, actually, I still have a little bit left in one of them. I just can't use it to make the chai pudding because I need a little more than what's in there. So what's left in there is working for my mushroom coffee. So, yeah. So I went on Amazon and I ordered I got a dozen 16-ounce or pint-sized mason jars, and they just arrived today. And I picked up and I also had Himalayan crystallized salt in there as well. Now I've got the fine stuff, but I have these really cool grinders, and they normally have, and sometimes I just I need it not quite fine as what it is. I need to have a different course of I need it to be like a little coarser or rougher and stuff than what the fine stuff is. So the grinders that I have actually have an adjustment on them onto how fine do you want these salt crystals ground. I think that's the right term. Anyway, so today's order was the Himalayan salt in crystal form with the mason jars. Well, I pick up the box out there, slightly swollen on one side, and I pick up the box, and all I can hear is the stuff rattling around, and I'm like, oh, crap. Don't tell me that the jars are broken. So I opened up the jars on the thing, and what it was is that somehow there was just a few crystals that had gotten out of the Himalayan salt bag, and that's what I heard rolling around. I was like, oh, thank goodness. So I opened up the box of the jars, and they're all very well packed with polystyrene and everything, and they all look great. So now they're all going to go into the dishwasher and get washed. And yes, I do use a dishwasher every now and again. Somebody actually asked me it was in one of the widow groups that I belong to, and they said, now that you live solo, does anybody actually use a dishwasher? And I said, yeah. I said, when there's days when I just don't feel like doing the dishes and they just kind of stack up for some reason, I said, I usually wash as I go. I normally wash as I go about 95% of the time. I said, but then there's that 5% where some form of grief comes over me. I get depressed. I don't want to do anything. I just get in that mood where I really don't give a crap and I don't want to do anything in the house. And I see that lasts for a couple of days. And so things pile up. And so it's easy just to throw everything in the dishwasher. Now, when I use the dishwasher, I don't dry in the dishwasher. I have it set so that it just washes but doesn't dry. And then once it's finishing the washing, I crack open the door and let it air dry. And that way I can actually put things in that are not designed to go into the dishwasher, because a lot of times they don't want you putting stuff in the dishwasher is because of the heat from the heaters when they're drying. So my dryer on my dishwasher doesn't get turned on, it just washes. And I have these really cool biodegradable, environmentally friendly, that's the ice maker. What the heck's that? No, it's the ice maker. Tablet things that go into the dishwasher. So I'm being environmentally friendly that way too. Detoxifying my kitchen one thing at a time. It's a slow process, but it gets done it's getting done slowly. And so my mason jars arrived today, and then I decided, and I was like, I need to get out of the house. I haven't been out of the house for a while. I need to get out of the house. Except for our walks, we haven't gone anywhere this week. And so I said, and suddenly I remembered, I thought, well, hang on. I was supposed to pick up Zeffie on Monday from the dog sitters, but because she was going to be out this way, she offered to drop Zeffie on the way to where she was going because it was on the way. And I said, that'd be fine. And so normally when I pick up Zeffie from the dog sitters on the way home, we stop at Dutch Brothers so she can have her pup cup as a reward for being a really good dog while I was away. And I get my double chocolate mocha, my blended, hang on, I got to remember this, blended protein double chocolate mocha. Yeah, I think that I was sitting here with a guided. I have to tell you, this was the funniest visit I have ever had to Dutch Brothers. And so we didn't go to our regular one, which is less than a mile from our house, simply because they were swamped. And it's a very popular one where it is. But if you drive a mile past that and down another road and turn a corner, there's one there that you literally drive up to the window. I've never seen it busy. And so I getting ready to pull up to the window because there's nothing in front of me. And this guy walks out with the little tablet and he takes the order because they always have to take it on the tablet. You don't do it at the window for whatever reason. And he looks at me and he goes, "You have an accent." I went, "I do?" He goes, "Yeah." I says, "No." He goes, "Do you have an accent?" And I went, "No. Do you?" And he goes, "Yes." He says, "There it is. There it is. There's that accent." He goes, "Where's it from?" So I told him it's from New Zealand. He goes, "That is so cool." He says, "Now, what can we get you?" And Zeffie starts up her little whining thing in the back. I said, "Well, she needs her pup cup." He goes, "Got that? Right. What else can we get you?" I says, "I need blended." He goes, "Yes." "Medium." He goes, "Yep." And I said, "With the protein milk in there, and it's the double chocolate mocha thingy." And he goes, "Got it." He says, "You want a blended protein double chocolate mocha?" I said, "And medium." I said, "Yes, that's exactly what I need." And so got that. And so we pulled up to the window and he's inside. He goes, you got to hear her accent. You have to hear her accent's really cool. You got to hear her accent. It's from New Zealand. And so they're all coming over and going, why do we have to? And they go, well, what are you showing us? And I went, nothing. So they were all asking me questions. So it was more than a yes or they were asking me open-ended questions. That was more than a yes or no answer, just so they could hear the accent. And yeah. But Zeffie got her pup cup, and at one point we're at a light, and I'm doing this at the back there, holding her cup. And of course, I can't hold it there the whole time because we're waiting at a light, and it's very awkward because there's a mesh thing in between the seats there that's part of her whole seat cover thing. And so I was sitting there, so we're at a light, and I've got my hand over there holding her pup cup, and the next thing she just takes it out of my hand. And I was thinking, I wonder how long it was going to take her to do that. She then demolished everything inside the cup and demolished the cup. I could hear her as we're pulling in the ground, pulling pieces of the cup to bits. And so she had an enjoyable ride home. She got to eat all of the whipped cream out of there, plus the dog biscuit that was in there, and then proceeded to destroy the cup that it all came in. So when I went in the back there to let her out, there's bits of her Dutch brother's pup cup all over the back seat. And she's just sitting there looking as proud as punch that I did this. And so we came inside, and I went, I still have my drink as well. Fortunately, I had my straws in the car because they always ask me if I need a straw. And I go, no, don't need a straw. And then I was like, oh, hang on, do I? And I said, hang on a sec. So I pulled I have a utensil pouch that I keep in the car. And there is a straw that goes in there, but I couldn't remember if I'd washed it and put it back. So I had went, oh, yep, here it. And I pulled it up and go, oh, no, hang on, that's a chopstick. pulled up the straw and go, yep, we're good, and put that in my drink. So I was able to use that on the way home. So now I have to remember to wash it and put it back in the car. And so then we sat down. I said to Zeph, I feel like watching a movie. So we were and the reason we were late on today was because we were watching King Arthur, the Legend of the Sword, with Charlie Hunnam as the main character, who plays Arthur. If you have not watched this movie, I have seen a lot of King Arthur movies over the years that have been made and all of that. This, by far, for me personally, in my opinion, is the best one so far. I love it. I love the wordplay that they have in there. I love the action scenes. And by the wordplay, they have, you've got King Arthur and you've got his two sidekicks. And King Arthur was actually raised, and in this story, King Arthur was sent on his way back when he was a young lad and was basically brought up in a brothel. And he learned to protect himself. He learned to protect the girls that worked in the brothel. He thought he was the son of a prostitute, is what he had been told. And so him and his sidekicks, who have been best mates with him since he was a kid, they would go around and they had their protection money that they would collect from different people, and they had their own coffers and stuff. And of course, they paid the Black Knights, which were like the police for the king, and that sort of stuff. And when the three of them together and they've been asked a question, they all tell different parts of the stories, and it's seamless. It just goes from one person to the next, to the next, to the next. It is so cool. And I'm just like mesmerized. And I don't know how many times I've seen this movie. I don't know how many times. But I love the way they do this wordplay thing when they're telling stories, and they all tell the story at the same time, each with like a sentence or two. And it flows seamlessly between the three of them when they do this wordplay thing. It's just absolutely brilliant. And the movie is really well done. It was directed and produced by Guy Ritchie. I don't even remember the year it came out. I just know it is one of the best King Arthur movies that I have seen in my entire life. And I love this movie, and I watched it so many times I have lost count. I can't tell you how many times. I don't even know what year it came out. Hang on. King Arthur. Oh, came out in 2017. King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. Came out in February 20th, 2017. It is a really cool movie. And Jude Law is the one who plays King Arthur's uncle, who becomes king when his I didn't realize he was in it. Huh. Well, that's interesting. Who else is in this movie? I just saw it says David Beckham's in it, plays Trigger, and I'm like, Trigger, which one's Trigger? So now I'm in the middle of watching the movie, so now I've got to keep an eye out for Trigger because that's who David Beckham plays. Interesting. But anyway, they have a really good cast. So Jude Law plays the king who decided to kill his brother. And where's the one that plays? It's just really cool. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's on, if I remember correctly, it's on Prime. I've got it on DVD. Oh, and I fixed the remote thingy too. So I'm gonna go back and see who Trigger is. I'm trying to remember who Trigger is. I'm gonna have to go back and see who Trigger is. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, so I got the remote thing sorted out. So I have my universal remote, which I found in storage, which is so I got it all charged up and everything. And what was really funny is I knew I'd taken a picture of the back of the TV with all the information on it. So I pull up the photograph, and I'm like sitting there, it says it's an LG. I could have thought it was an Insignia. And so I thought, well, what's the information I have? So I'm putting it in there, and it couldn't find the TV. And I'm like, oh, it was frustrating me. And there's actually a desktop app you can download to upload information onto the remote. And it's a Harmony one that came out years ago. I don't think they make the Harmony remote, universal remotes anymore, but you plug it in and you can program it from your computer. And you just put in the name and the make and the model of your device, and it pulls up in the information to see, do we have it? Yes, we do. Boom, and boom, it's programmed. And then you put activities like I want to watch TV. So when I watch TV, the TV has to be powered on, and it has to switch to HDMI 3 because that's where my Amazon Fire Stick is. I'm going to see if I can program the Amazon Fire Stick onto this so that it turns on the Amazon Fire Stick when it turns on the TV, because I still have to put that remote. Didn't think of that one, just thought of that one. And then if I want to watch a movie, it puts the TV on, switches it to HDMI 1, which is where the Blu-ray player is, and I typed in what the Blu-ray player was, and so now it switches that on, and it switches the TV on and puts it onto HDMI 1 so that it's ready to play. And it was frustrating me yesterday. I'm like, damn this thing. It's one of the things I did yesterday afternoon. And so I went out and I sat down, and I was like, damn this thing. And I looked at the front of the TV and I thought, that is not an LG. That is an Insignia. So I had to take a picture of the back of the TV again. What I had taken a picture of that was LG was the Flatron monitor that is sitting here on the desk next to me that I can't find a power cord for. So I have to figure out what sort of power cord it needs and see if I can find a replacement power cord for it. And because I want to have the two monitors, this one and the Flatron. And then because that's just going to make it so much easier doing some of the stuff that I have to do with genealogy and things. I tried doing some of the stuff last week on genealogy on my laptop, which is a 15-inch monitor. Yeah, that didn't work. I mean, even doing networking, for doing networking riches, it would be absolutely awesome because there's a lot of admin stuff I have to do. So I'm flipping between screens and stuff. And sometimes I will actually have my laptop open and I'll be operating one of the things on my laptop while the computer's going. But of course, last week I had to do it on everything on the laptop on a 15-inch screen. It was, yeah. It worked. It was a lot of work. But anyway, so what I was putting in there was for the Flatron. And so I took the information of that, came in here, and like in less than 5 minutes, everything was programmed and it's working beautifully. And I went, oh, we're going to watch a movie today. So click the activity to watch a movie. It didn't turn the TV on because the last time the remote had been used, it turned the TV on. And I remembered it had turned the TV on. So it was trying to turn the TV off. It was doing the opposite of what it was supposed to do. So you just got to help and you go, and it goes, is the TV on? You go, no. And it goes, okay. And did that solve the problem? I go, no, because it was on the wrong HDMI input thing. So we had to get it on the right one for that. But yeah, got everything working. And so now we're going to go back and watch some more of this movie. And we'll probably stop it in about 30 to 40 minutes to go out and do our night walk because it's just too hot outside. I don't even know what the current temperature is outside. It's probably still in the 90s somewhere. Let's see. It is currently 94 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 35 degrees Celsius. That's what it is right now outside. Ugh. Where the heck's the little X? There is the X button. It brings up all these pop-up ads. Oh, well, that's a different look to that. Yeah, so by 7 o'clock, 7:30, it should be down. But then what is the time that the sun's setting today? It usually tells me the sunset time. Oh, it's a waxing gibbons tonight on the moon. I have no idea what that means. Hang on. Where did it go? Yeah, there'd been a lot of wind. It was very windy outside earlier, which is the other that I came inside as well. Oh, there it is. So the sun will set at 7:27 tonight, which means we can probably go out there at 7:30 when it'll be a little cool, like about 3 degrees cooler, and go for our evening walk, which will give us time to finish the movie as well. So anyway, we're going to go finish watching the movie. They say Wednesday's going to be a warm one. Yep, that's going to be 35 degrees Celsius along with Friday. Although it's next week, we're going to watch because it's going to be 35 degrees Celsius on Monday, 37 on Tuesday. Oh, this is the following week, not this coming week. No, this week. Let's see. We're at 33 tomorrow, which means we're not above 100. I'm trying to remember what 100 degrees Fahrenheit is in Celsius. It is 37.7778 is 100 degrees. So we're hitting that not till next week, the following week. From Tuesday, from the 28th, 29th, 30th, and 31st. And then the 1st, we're all going to be 37 or above for 4 days. So anyway, we're off to go watch the end of King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, that came out in 2017. If you have not seen it and you are a Prime member, please go watch it. Pretty sure it's still on there as King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, Prime. Let's see. Where's the Prime thingy? Prime Video. Yeah. So if you are a Prime member, you can watch King Arthur, Legend of the Sword on Prime Video. If you are a Prime member, so you can watch it for free. Oh, and watch out because Amazon has started doing limited ads unless you want to pay $3 a month to be ad-free on some of the new stuff that they're watching. But if you've already purchased, if you've electronically purchased it or you're watching one of the other channels like I do with BritBox and Acorn, I don't get those commercials. I do if I watch anything on Prime. So it's a little annoying that they're now putting limited ads and then they don't even seem to know what they're, I mean, what was I watching the other night? I was watching something the other night and all of a sudden they started this ad and I'm like, what the heck's going on here? And the guy was, the actor was in the middle of a sentence when they switched to an ad. They did a Prime ad. They did an ad on something else. It was like all of 2 to 3 minutes long, the whole ad break thing, and then they're back to the program. And the guy forgot to finish his sentence. He was in the middle of a word, in the middle of a sentence, and he finally got to finish the word in the sentence. And I'm like, And so I looked it up, and yeah, they've started doing limited ads on their Prime programs and movies and streaming and stuff unless you pay $2.99 a month to have it removed. And I'm like, I'm already a Prime member. I'm already paying you guys for the service. Why do I now have to pay on top of that? And that's an extra $36 a year that I'm paying on top of my Prime membership to get ad-free. That should be a benefit of the membership. So be cautious with that one. Anyway, that's it. I'm out of here. I'm going to go finish watching King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. I hope you all had a super fantastic, sparkling, relaxing day. I know we did here. Zeffie got her pup cup today, which she was very happy to have. She hasn't had one for a few weeks. So when I mentioned over riding the car, and then I realized I had to put all her stuff in the back seat because I'd taken out all of her stuff so I could fold the seats down when I went to San Diego for bringing the stuff home. So we got the car back to normal today with her screens on the windows, so she's protected in the back. We have these really cool screens that go over both sides of the car door, and it's their UV screens, so they protect her from any sunlight coming in, even though the windows are tinted in the back. She gets that extra protection with the screens, and it means if I have the windows down too, the windows go up and down between the screens, and if I have the windows down, stuff's not getting blown into the car, into her eyes, into her mouth when she puts her head out the window. And so it protects her. It stops her jumping out the window. There's been a couple of times I've been driving around without the screens on and I've had the windows down. And she's figured out that, oh, I can put my, and she can usually stand there and stick her head out the window, but it's so cute. But she finds out she can put her full head out if she puts her feet on the armrest of the door. It puts her up higher, even though she is buckled in. And I'm sort of like, I don't want her to even attempt to jump because then she'll be hanging from the car on the outside, and I didn't want that happening. So we have screens on the window to prevent that. Anyway, I'm out of here. Go have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. And I promise I won't look as wild as I do today. I will be, yes, it's just been a nice, relaxing day. Everything. Not worrying about the headband, not worrying about the mop on top. I do have to get a hairstylist appointment. That's the word I was looking for. I was going, doctor, dentist, no medical stuff. Anyway, have a super fantastic sparkling evening. We'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. Hey, konara.